Oh, hello. I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. My name's host Eric. I'm the host of Talking to Famous People. And today I'm going to be talking with you about the difference between introverted intuition and extroverted intuition. I read a lot and watch a lot of videos on the subject of cognitive functions and Myers-Briggs personality types. And I've concluded that many people experience a phenomenon known as wrongness when they speak about introverted intuition. Let me be the one to correct everyone else. Hooray! The Entp's favorite activity. Ready? Here we go. Correction time. So, the problem comes with people when people are attempting to describe introverted intuition. People have a pretty good understanding of extroverted intuition. It's an exploration function, and it has a good sense of how and where to explore. Obviously, in the process of exploring, you discover things, okay? And you discover new pathways, and you discover new ways that things connect, and you discover possible ways you could go exploring further and where those things might lead. You can draw all sorts of little conclusions here and there about stuff, okay? The problem with talking about introverted intuition and extroverted intuition is that this function of extroverted intuition, when paired with introverted thinking, results in something that is so flexible and so powerful that it can do most everything that introverted intuition does, except it goes about it the long way, okay? Because fundamentally, the difference between extroverted intuition and introverted intuition is very, very simple. The actual difference is extroverted intuition is the development phase, the exploration phase, whatever. Introverted intuition is the conclusion part. Seeing how 2 and 2 connect and equal 4. Now, the reason why it's hard to distinguish between them is because for extroverted intuition, you think, well, I see connections all the time. I'm very intuitive. I can understand the connection between even wildly disparate things. Yes, that's outside of you. And the introverted intuition part is, when you say drawing conclusions, what you mean is drawing conclusions about your life. Ultimately, all of everything outside of us is a subset of our own universe, by which I mean part of the problem that people have is they don't understand how little commonality there is between people. In other words, that we really aren't very similar beings occupying the same universe, which is how we are perceived to be. We are, in fact, independent universes interacting with one another. And that makes it complicated to understand the other when not only is the other constantly changing, but the environment of the other is foreign to you, even though it appears to be exactly the same. When I drive around and I see this stuff around here, I'm seeing it through the eyes of extroverted intuition, which means I'm not interested in it at all, frankly. I know this spot. If I were talking and thinking about this, and I were really not thinking about anything somehow, like I didn't have something more interesting going on, and I were driving through here with an empty brain, like a blank slate to start from, then I guess I would think, oh, well, look, this little area over here is like a quarry or something. I wonder, it would be cool to do we could put a lake right there. It already goes down from the road level here. And we could put a lake there and a lake right there, and then there'd be this little barge of land in between connecting, and you could stand on that and fish into the lakes. And if I owned that, I could charge people to come in and play fishing. I put some nice trees. I put a bunch of trees up because you want to fish in the shade, you know? This is the extroverted intuition. That's extroverted intuition. Introverted intuition is this. Oh my God, I noticed that they have construction trucks there, and they've got, they've also got these big plastic sheet things that look like something familiar to me, and I'm not really sure what they are. And I also see that there are several people with corporate logos on their jackets that I recognize as familiar, but I don't know exactly what it is. Introverted intuition is where it goes. Oh my God, they're building that new stadium here. It's obvious to me now, you know. I could spend months with all the obvious pieces right in front of me and be talking about how we could use those pieces in so many different ways and not draw the obvious conclusion that is suggested by those pieces. Why? I lack introverted intuition. At least it's one of my shadow functions, so to speak. It's not in my cognitive stack. And as a consequence, I am very prone to not seeing things that are right in front of my face. And for example, and when it comes to my emotions, it's even doubly so, because I have neither introverted feeling nor introverted intuition in my stack. And as a consequence, sometimes it can take me months to figure out what I feel about something. For example, when I got divorced, it wasn't until a couple months later that I realized how I was really sad about it, and it was a big deal, and it was emotionally significant to me, because I had already established that my ex-wife seemed genuinely happy about the whole thing, and so I was like, well, okay, that's fine then. And the only times when I have wavered on this whole thing, on the divorce, are times when she's expressing to me her own pain, at which point I immediately go, okay, well, what can I do to fix this? You're in pain. Extroverted feeling. I'm not so worried about my own feelings, and when I am, and my own feelings are driving things, I'm usually making bad decisions, almost always. So the introverted intuition thing, I can think of an example when I had introverted intuition, and it saved my ass. And I don't know where it came from, but it did. When I was in junior high, my friend and I went to go shoplift at this Save-On. We had done it a couple times before already. And anyway, the employees were eyeballing us when we went in there this time. And so I was like, I have a bad feeling about this, and I don't want to do it. I'm not going to steal something. And my friend did anyway, and he got caught, and they called his dad, and he got busted. That's introverted intuition. The pieces were in front of my eyes, and I noticed them, and I drew the obvious conclusion, which was, today's not a good day to do this. I didn't rely on past events, right? That's one good thing, is that because SI is low in my stack, that didn't come into play so much. I didn't say, well, it worked yesterday, it worked the day before, so it should work again. Actually, feeling probably saved my ass, because it's the one that says, oh, this is how these other people are behaving differently, or feeling differently, or things feel disharmonious in here on their end. So I'm not gonna do it today. though, I think that's what ended up happening is you get your exploration function is noting the data in the same way that the introverted intuition would note data. I mean, it's still coming in. It's just for what purpose, right? Extroverted intuition is looking to it for possibilities and for exploration and for fun. And the introverted intuition is looking to it for conclusions and, a sign from God, the proverbial sign from God that this is the way forward, which you can then cleave onto and say, I have certainty here. And I can feel intuitively the resonant truth of this thing that I now know, that I did not know previously. So that's the actual difference between extroverted and introverted intuition. And if you're confused about it, understand that just because you are very good at drawing conclusions and realizing what data suggests and implies and blah, 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 if you're extroverted intuition, don't make any mistake. You are going the long way around to get to there. The fast way, the correct introverted intuition way, if you're intuiting introvertedly, then that's how intuitive conclusions are drawn. The way we're drawing conclusions is much more conditional. It's much more, it's predicated on doing some cognitive work, some deductive work, let's say, some logical work. And it's always the conclusions we draw using that methodology are going to be conditional on conditions remaining the same, or something like that. So anyway, if you are an extroverted intuitor and you read stuff on introverted intuition, you think, it sounds the same, or I don't think they quite get it, or whatever. Now you know. That's the actual difference, okay? If you see them with all the pieces of them building a stadium project someplace, like, they've got all the materials there, such that if you were thinking along those lines, it would be obvious to you. The introverted, or at least if it would be obvious to somebody who was really paying attention, let's say, and it was maybe aligned that way. The introverted intuitor can go into a situation not having any sort of I'm already there, and that's the area where I'm doing my thought right now anyway. They can be in some totally different place and arrive in any place, and what's presented in front of them by the external world will produce the correct conclusion immediately, bypassing all of the stuff. However, the downside of introverted intuition is you are stuck with the intuitively resonantly true thing, whereas for the extroverted intuitor, the Entp, the Entp, the Enfp, we're the extroverted intuitors. I mean, here's the thing. It's like we go, duh, I should have seen that. But even so, we could do this instead of that. This is the other thing. And ultimately, extroverted intuition is way more useful. But introverted intuition saves your ass. And you need both. You need an introverted intuitor around. You need one. They feel the truth of things before you do, way before you do. But they can't see the possibilities for shit.